Rob, and Ram. Nobody asked, but we give you our opinions. Acknowledge us like Roman Reigns to all his minions. Coming from the grave like our name was Undertaker. Women's wrestling is cool, but where the hell is Britt Baker? Coherence takes abandon all hope. We talk shit like Ricochet from the top rope. We are marks, sometimes we're friendly. Sometimes we show our whole ass like Mandy. We are discussing what is the latest. Jericho is the GOAT, but Sid is our favorite. We are marks. We are marks.
What's going on, Marks? Welcome back to the podcast, the We Are Marks podcast. I'm your host. My name is Ram, Rob, and Bob. What's going on this fine evening, gentlemen?
What's going on, America?
It got a little strange this week.
It did. And we'll talk about Raw, absolutely. But I think we're going to start out today's discussion with AEW because we got to make sure, despite all of our talk this week, which we can get into if you'd like, I figured we should make sure we give AEW some time today. So we're going to talk about it. First and foremost, MJF, of course, your new AEW World Champion. I don't think I had the privilege of talking about that last week before I had to tend to my fallen soldier downstairs. But he is the new World Heavyweight Champion, and admittedly, I didn't fully understand why we made the transition from MJF to Joe. I really thought that the transition from Hangman to MJF probably made more sense. I don't know why we did that little transition. So I was down on the title change to begin with. But 1 week of Dynamite, and I'm already way more interested in what's going on with the world title than I have been in probably well over a year. Honestly, there was that glimmer of time when Hangman was getting over on Mox finally. But that was really a glimmer of time in the last year plus of the World Heavyweight Championship on AEW. It was really a breath of fresh air, having MJF being that scumbag and everybody wanting to chase him. I thought, now I'm fully 100% behind it. Let's go. Everything looks great. And it's starting with Bandito in a couple of weeks, not this week, next week, I believe. And honestly, I'm looking forward to that because, Bandito's electric, and I'm curious to see what MJF can do with him.
Yeah, I thought it was a good segment on Dynamite, definitely displaying the different guys that want to challenge him. The only thing, and to your point with Bandito being the first one, I just thought at the end of that segment, Bandito should have came out and been like, you all want to be next, but I am next. I just thought that would have been a good thing. Not that we look at Bandito that way, but hey, when you're trying to elevate a guy, put him with the main eventers like that instead of next week's show kind of, we all know MJF's going to win, but would have been nice to have a little teaser. But other than that, I thought it was good, and it was nice to see Kenny Omega back in the world title picture.
Yeah, I actually forgot about that too. I only wrote down 3 specific names. I forgot Kenny Omega popped up on the screen to remind MJF he's interested in that world title.
Yeah, I liked everything that happened with that opening thing. MJF basically saying, you need to step up to my level. Me and Bob talked about that last week. I think he said that best. They need to get better in order to beat him, which I agree with. And then the 4 guys that are coming after him, he's basically being attacked by all angles. Like, this is far from over. I liked everything that happened in that opening segment of AEW. I thought it was nicely done. And I'm with Ram. I loved when Hangman won the title. But, I mean, as a face, your title run is always going to be a face title run. It's not going to be that great. And with MJF in it, with all the faces going after him, especially Kenny Omega's last run, I'm all for this.
Yeah. And there's some excitement with the chase. No matter who ends up being maybe the main one that comes out of this group, the chase is always fun to see the babyface conquer the heel. So they'll be able to reset and probably next couple months, maybe all the way to All In, have that chase.
Right.
No doubt. Absolutely. You know what? I was excited to talk about AEW, and then I looked at my notes, And this is kind of going to get into a little bit of what we discussed internally over the last week. So before we continue with AEW, Rob, I got to know, because this came from you, and anybody who's listened to this podcast throughout the year, they probably understand where I'm coming from, because you, sir, said last week that AEW probably was the best promotion this year. In fact, you doubled down. You were confident AEW was the best promotion this year. Now, let me ask you something. We just had an awesome pay-per-view. It's awesome. I mean, just like always, AEW, it's awesome. I have 3 things written on this piece of paper. 3 things. And you know who I don't have written down at all? Kyle Fletcher, Konosuke Takeshita, and Okada. Not written down on my piece of paper. And why is that? Because these 3 guys who were, honestly, other than MJF, this is your biggest story, not on the show. Just not on the show.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's why this is a reoccurring theme for AEW, which is why I cannot get behind any thought that this was the best promotion of 2025, because this is ongoing, where the most important things coming out of this awesome pay-per-view aren't on the show next week. And honestly, I've forgotten about them. You didn't have them on. You'll remind me next week, and that's fine. But I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about AEW, and I forgot about these guys because they're not on the show. There's no cohesion. The storylines, they start, stop. They break apart. It's like, this is why on my wish list for the year, I just wanted to see consistency with AEW. Just consistency. Just have the guys on the freaking show. Just have them on the show, so that we can continue to get behind this and get behind these guys. But when they have this awesome pay-per-view with these great moments, and we want to know, we were talking about Dynamite because we want, 2 weeks ago after the pay-per-view, we were excited for Dynamite because we wanted to see how Takeshita responded to this. We wanted to see how Okada and Don Callis responded to this. And all we had was Don Callis on the show building for a feud with the Death Riders.
Yeah, I think the defense of that is going to be they were in Japan. Takeshita had his title match in Japan. Okada had his final match with Tanahashi. Hear me out. But I don't think that's a good enough defense. I think that there are things you can do, whether it's a backstage segment you could tape whenever. They could have taped the backstage segment at World's End that they could have shown on the show. To your point, there could have been something. I think that is the problem. It's nice that they have these partnerships and that they are good partners, but sometimes it becomes a detriment to the show and to the stories, as you're pointing out here. And, I agree with you. I mean, I'm saying the defense, but I think that there's ways that they can do a better job with that.
So I do agree with you, and I do get your point. I understand all that, and it may not even be that AEW was fantastic, phenomenal, A+. It might have been a B-. But if you're going to sit here and tell me that AEW had a worse year than WWE last year, I'm going to call you out on it. WWE was...
Listen, AEW has better matches. They continue to have better matches. Mm-hmm. They probably will always have better matches. But established 3.5 years ago or whatever on this podcast, I am most interested in the story. That is why I watch wrestling. I understand that this is not a real fight. Therefore, the storyline is the reason that I watch it.
And Graham, I agree with you 100%. But here's what I'm saying. From January to December of last year, AEW, maybe not as consistent as you want them to be, was better than WWE. All right?
I don't agree.
We did our marquees last year. Who was the male superstar of the year? It was Hangman Page. We had Tony Storm as the female. Feud of the year.
That was your guys' opinion. Mind you, my superstar of the year was Dominic Mysterio. And why? Because every single thing he did told a great story. Every time. Thoroughly entertained.
Feud of the year was Jon Moxley and Hangman. Pay-per-view of the year was All In. To sit here and say that they had all of these that were better, but then they weren't as good as they were worse than WWE. That's asinine to me, dude.
That continues to be your opinion because that was not my opinion.
And that's
My
all well and
question
good.
on that is, what matches in the WWE this year did you feel like had a good story, or a story comparable to Hangman and Moxley?
Right.
Again, the matches continue to be better in AEW. They continue to be better. They'll always be better. But they do not have a consistent storyline. I just said in my previous statements that Hangman and Moxley storyline was great, but it was a blip in the year. A blip. It was probably, all told, 6 weeks, but it probably happened in 3.
Okay. I mean, you're saying you lack consistency, but at the same time, that storyline's still ongoing. Yeah, we didn't see it the week after. We probably will see it tonight. You got to remember, they only have 2 hours of show, all right? Because as much as they say Collision matters, it doesn't really matter. They have 2 hours of show. As Bob says, they were gearing up for New Japan. That was the story that was being told, was New Japan and Tanahashi's last match.
Okay, we'll talk about that because they did not tell me that.
And you may not. You may not.
Did they
But
tell me that
AEW
on
fans do.
Because I'm not going to lie, I did not even know that was happening this week until you guys just told me.
I don't know how you didn't. Did they say that on Dynamite last week, or Bob?
I mean, I obviously knew. I
read about it.
That it was said.
I read about it on social media.
I'll give you a better story other than Hangman and John Moxley that AEW has been told all year. It's the rise and fall of Mercedes Moné, and she's been on almost every week.
And do you realize that you bitched about that for months?
I did not bitch about that. I told you. I have been the one telling you exactly how this was going to play out.
You were pissed about Mercedes Moné for months.
For about 2 months until I realized about what was going to happen.
Whoa.
I'm allowed to be upset for a little bit, but once I realized what was happening, I was into it.
Okay.
Well, I think it seems like what we're arguing, it seems like maybe it wasn't the strongest year in wrestling because we still, like, what in the WWE did they do in 2025 other than nostalgia from John Cena, which was fine at times. There's not one story. WrestleMania didn't lead to this story. The only story was John Cena showing up sporadically and doing nostalgia.
I mean,
you would have the only story they really told was the Vision. That was the only story, and that fell apart due to injuries.
That was.
Well, that also started in SummerSlam.
It started SummerSlam.
Well, no. Paul Heyman turned on Seth Rollins at Paul Heyman joined Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. I consider that the start of that story.
I mean, Punk was kind of the story, but it wasn't.
Was that this year?
Yes, that was this year.
That happened at WrestleMania this year.
Yes.
The triple threat.
Yes.
Oh my God, bro. Time is weird. I'll be honest, time is weird because
you don't even remember the stories in WWE.
That did not register in my brain that was that recently. That's crazy.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Nevertheless, we continue to have very little to talk about week to week on AEW. So here we go. John Moxley is a babyface. He had a match with Josh Alexander.
Death Riders versus all.
Yeah, I mean, it continues the Death Riders on Cal's family. I'm just not in love with these eliminator matches. Just not a huge fan of them, but
they're dumb. They make absolutely no sense, and they rarely get won. The challenger rarely wins those matches.
That's the problem.
But again, we're building to a Don Callis versus Death Riders storyline. For what? We're tearing the Don Callis family apart from the inside. Like I said 2 weeks ago, if Takesh just shows up on Dynamite side by side with Don Callis, he's a fucking moron. He's a dumbass. What more can you say?
I agree with you. And I'm hoping he doesn't. I'm hoping Takesh but then again, Takesh just lost his New Japan title, so I don't know. Yeah, he lost.
Who did he lose to?
I believe his name is Suji.
The guy who really doesn't like AEW.
So the match that we were really excited to be for the New Japan, what's it called? What's the world title called?
IWGP
World Heavyweight Championship. Turns out it's not going to be involved. So AEW probably gets the big match. It's fantastic.
That was my
Great.
takeaway. I'm cool with that. That means that
Great.
it's not going to be a New Japan. So I think
Fantastic. That's a great thing. That's a great thing for AEW. It's a great thing for us. America, baby. Okay. The main event of Dynamite last week, as Rob buried the lead on, Willow Nightingale defeats Mercedes Moné to win the TBS championship, right? That was the one that was on the line, right?
Yeah.
The TBS championship, which was awesome. I love Willow. I think she's so great, and she's just so, like, she brings joy to people, and I think that's fantastic. I thought the celebration was a little over the top for the TBS championship. I don't know.
Yeah,
especially
thought
because
so
he's already
too.
won it. It's her
the end of
second
the
time,
year.
right? It's the end of the year. That was the last.
That's what I was thinking. It was New Year's Eve. I mean, it was 10:15. You're waiting for the ball to drop. Have the celebration. Chris Statlander came out. They did a weird hug thing. You know, it was one of those things. I didn't read too much into it.
I'm actually glad you brought up Chris Statlander right there because I had a question. When did she start doing the Martian thing again?
So it was funny because the podcast last week, me and Bob sat here and said she doesn't really have a gimmick.
Yeah, when did she start doing that again?
And then she had that last week that became a thing, I guess.
That's so funny.
I swear Tony Khan listens to this podcast.
Yeah, maybe.
He'll never admit to it, but secretly he's our number one fan.
Because
one of his Twitter accounts.
For a while there, I was like thinking she was like kind of like being like the badass chick at the bar.
Me and Bob said she doesn't like.
That was her gimmick, and then she came
She
out
doesn't
and said
really
like
have
she was
one.
the galaxy's favorite, whatever.
I did think we had
Anyway,
moved on from that. I thought it was more of like just a badass, good wrestler.
Yeah, she didn't have a gimmick, and now all of a sudden she does again.
Yes, that's very interesting. But anyway, I mean, the match was good, and we got to see a world-class freak out from Mercedes Moné.
Yes,
which is
It was
great.
nice.
It's going the direction. Yes.
I thought it was. I liked the fact that they did it on the Dynamite, especially at the end of the year. It was a holiday, nice little moment to end the year, and I thought it was better than if they did it at World's End, just because I felt like this was the main event. Willow got the spotlight. I feel like if they would have done it at World's End, we would have been talking about Jon Moxley and MJF, and probably not that much about Willow as we are right now.
Absolutely. Double champion, Willow Nightingale, and that's terrific. And that concludes our AEW corner for the day. How much time do we give it?
17 minutes.
17 minutes. That hits the over because 15 and a half is the over under, and we hit the over. So good job, gentlemen. I'm sure WWE can't possibly top that. So let's start it out with the biggest news of the week, which is, of course, the newest signee to WWE SmackDown, Matt Cardona. I absolutely loved that he hit the woo, 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 and then drug it back, and then hit. Is this music he's been using, or is WWE music? Okay, it doesn't really matter. Here's what I don't think I've ever watched a Matt Cardona match other than like when he did those couple of death matches. Because I was like, oh, he's just Zack Ryder. He just wrestles exactly like Zack Ryder. It's pretty much the exact same thing.
It took me about 5 minutes into the match to even realize Matt Cardona was there because I was so blown away by Kit Wilson's entrance.
Oh my God! Can we please talk about Kit Wilson's entrance?
This guy needs to be on TV every week. I heard somebody compare him to like when Heath Slater got over with the "I Got Kids" thing. And I
Uh-huh.
was like, he could totally play a role like that. Like that. That's the best. The guy on YouTube said it. That's the best Titantron in the business right now.
I,
That's amazing.
I heard the sound and I'm like, this shouldn't work, and it does. It works so well. I loved it.
I had that song stuck in my head all weekend after watching SmackDown.
It's all over TikTok too, by the way. It's like, follow us on TikTok, Weird Marks. I've actually seen Matt Cardona live, but again, it was in a death match. So I don't really know if Matt Cardona is different than Zack Ryder, other than he's Matt Cardona now.
Didn't look like
Maybe
it.
we're just trying to get the stink off of the wheelchair neck brace guy. I don't know.
I'm gonna level with you. We have moved past the days of getting over virally because they're the only one doing anything virally because everybody's on the internet. There ain't a chance in hell Matt Cardona's getting over. Sorry about it.
It's actually funny because even Michael Cole kept calling him freaking Zack Ryder.
He kept calling him Zach. That was too much. It was totally by accident too.
I know. That's what made it great.
He's just one of those guys though where, I mean, this was his goal, so congratulations to him. He's back in the WWE, I guess, but
Congratulations.
I don't know what the hell they do with him on a consistent basis. I don't really need to see him, quite frankly.
Well, in his first match back, he went 20 minutes with Kit Wilson. So.
And the takeaway was, I'd like to see more Kit Wilson.
Yeah.
I actually forgot that Kit Wilson was Matt Cardona's opponent. Like, I knew Matt Cardona came back, but I forgot it was against Kit Wilson because I was all about Kit Wilson. Like, I hope that this isn't just – I hope we get to see that more, and he's not just a jobber that's already in the ring when people come out.
I can't imagine, because if that was the case, then they would have just left him with the tag team music, and he would just be doing his tag team shtick.
That is true.
Till Elton Prince came back, but they gave him a whole new package, which makes me think he's going to be jobbing out a lot.
But there's no way. After the reaction to that entrance, he's getting that entrance every week. I mean, SmackDown's 3 hours. We can give him 2 minutes to do that entrance.
True.
I'm thinking about buying some merch. Give me a Kit Wilson shirt.
Toxic masculinity.
That's sick. And as a consolation prize for signing Matt Cardona back to the WWE, they had his wife drop the U.S. title randomly back to Julia. They're just playing hot potato with absolutely no reason or storyline. Here you can knock WWE all you want because this title is the dumbest shit ever. And Julia is way better than this stupid ass title.
Is she?
Bob, educate my brother.
No, time out. Because we're going to go back 10 minutes and you're just telling me about stories and stuff like that. And can you tell me a story? Has Julia ever told you a story on the main roster, Ram?
I mean, that's a booking question.
But no, stories are the most important thing. Has Julia ever told you a story?
You can't tell a story if you're not booked in a story. That's what I'm saying.
So that's a no. So how is she better than a title that is meaningless when she's done everything that's meaningless?
Because she's one of the best in the ring they have.
Oh, so you mean in-ring ability matters and matches matter?
I didn't say they didn't matter at all. Not what I said.
All right.
I think, I'm happy that Julia won. I'm glad this weekend. I don't want to spoil what happened on Raw, but we're moving off of divas. We're back to real wrestling.
Yeah,
Julia
absolutely.
kicking ass.
Julia's great. She's fantastic. Yeah, I hope they book her in legitimate storylines. So, unfortunately, because she has the Women's United States Championship, she won't be.
I am gonna say this. I'm hoping the women's tag team division kind of gets separated a little bit, and your main event stars can go back to being in the main event, and we can get the mid-card title actually worthwhile. Julia is a great wrestler. You can do something with Julia to have great matches, but she can't be against BFAB, which apparently Jade Cargill killed on a house show. You can't have her against Beef Bab and Mitchin. You need to have her against Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair.
You can't have her go
Bitchin',
against
bitchin', man. Bitchin', bitchin'. Anyway.
Bitchin' Mitchin. Oh, that's funny.
But she needs the right opponent. It's not going to be against Chelsea Green. You want this title to matter? Have Julia have open challenges against people who matter.
That's what we need. A women's United States Open challenge.
Let's do it. Why not?
Bring it on, because Carmelo Hayes is apparently keeping it going. The United States Championship Open Challenge may never end if they just keep switching it from babyface to babyface, or like make out after they switch the title. Well, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see a guy lose the title and then pass the guy in the hallway and go, wow, that was a great match. Thank you. Shut the hell up, dude.
You know
Punch
what
it.
could happen? Because Carmelo Hayes is a much better heel than he is a face. He could lose that title in an open challenge to a face, and instead of making out with him, punch him in the face and make Carmelo a heel.
You know who he could lose to? SmackDown's other newest signee,
Chris Jericho?
Trick Williams.
Trick
He
Williams.
could lose to Tricky D. It's not Tricky D.
Tricky D.
I thought Trick was great. As the guy that does not consistently watch NXT, so you guys can explain to me why maybe it wasn't as great, but I thought Trick was great on the show.
No,
Trick
is
Williams'
fantastic.
character,
Fantastic.
Trick Williams' character, top notch. In-ring work, he's gotten better. It's still not fantastic. His character work, I have no complaints over.
I think currently he wrestles a little bit like Angelo Dawkins. Like he's not like crisp, but he has flashes of being really good.
Yeah.
But
He's gotten much better.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, Sammy's a
But
good
character
guy,
work,
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have a good match with Sami Zayn, that's not a good start. And
No.
it looks like that, gatekeeper Sami Zayn. What'd you call him recently, Bob? I forget. But anyway, yeah, Sami Zayn, he's there to gatekeep, and Trick Williams is the first one. But that brings up a great point that we do have some official NXT call-ups. Trick Williams, obviously, being one of them. Lash Legend, which we kind of were already like she's on the main roster, so that one was a little surprising. Jordan Grace was on SmackDown this week, and Ava Rain told me on NXT that she's officially called up. And also, of course, we had a vignette for Obafemi on both Raw and SmackDown, which is obviously intriguing. And he relinquished the NXT title last week, so it looks like the reign of the ruler is about to start on the main roster, and I could not be more excited. I said it earlier today, and I'll say it again. Obafemi should win the Royal Rumble.
yeah, I'm all for it. And you want to know what? Him not losing the NXT title, him just dropping it, means we're poised for a run. Because the last person who did this was Asuka, and I knew they buried her with Charlotte Flair, but I'm hoping we don't bury him with Charlotte Flair because we don't do intergender matches in WWE. So I would love for Oba to win the Royal Rumble. Screw the mid-card title. Put him right in the big dogs. He deserves it.
Yeah, I think best case scenario for Oba, he wins the Royal Rumble and he's right in the mix. I think kind of part of me back in my mind thinks he might be the guy that cost Drew this match on Friday, getting back at him for screwing with his match with Cody, and leads in that direction. But we'll see.
God, I hope not. Is that this Friday or is that Saturday night's main event?
It's Friday, isn't it?
3 stages.
I'm
of
not
hell?
sure.
3 stages
Yeah.
of hell. It's on SmackDown.
It is. I think it is.
If there's a
Is it
Saturday
Friday? Oh, yeah, that's right.
night's main event,
They're
then
probably
they've
trying
done
to
a real
They're
shit
probably
job.
trying to compete with the college football playoff.
Well, they won't, but actually, it's Indiana, so Indiana might.
Yeah. Nah. Well, I think the three of us will all be watching football. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oregon puts on a good show.
I'll be watching football.
Wrestling podcast. Let's go.
Yeah, wrestling podcast. So yeah, the NXT call-ups are starting. And that's great. Also get more people, more reps on NXT by calling these guys who are ready up to the main roster. That's
So
fantastic.
I do want to ask you guys a question about that. Do you think they're making a mistake putting Javon Evans on the main roster instead of leaving him down in NXT and letting them carry that place for a little bit?
Nah, he's been doing it he's had to have been down there for almost 2 years now. And I get that he's only 21 years old, but I mean, he's been every time that they have like an NXT guy on the main roster, it's been Javon Evans. My man has been in front of the camera. I think he's ready.
Where does he fit?
Well, right now, honestly, I think he's a lower mid card guy. I said before that he's the Jeff Hardy Jey Uso could never be. I see so much Jeff Hardy potential in him. I don't think he's going to be a world champion in the next 3 to 5 years, but I think one day Javon Evans will be a world champion. But I think he could absolutely be. How many Intercontinental title reigns does Chris Jericho have?
9.
11? 9.
He's only 21 years old. I can see him breaking that record.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I thought. I will say one thing that pissed me off on Raw is that they showed the signing during the international feed. Why they couldn't get this guy out on television on a Netflix shown Raw kind of blew my mind. Like, this is a guy should be getting a little bit of spotlight, but I could see him beating Dom for the title. I don't think.
What's going on with Dom? You guys hear any updates on that?
It's a minor injury.
Yeah.
The mask versus hair match will still happen at WrestleMania.
That's good. All I've heard was that he was out indefinitely, but I didn't know anything else.
Yeah, well, his deadbeat dad finally took his revenge.
They beat him.
Right. Yeah.
But it's not like with Dom. Like, I like Dom and I have no problem with him being the champion, but he's not defending the belt all the time or having these killer Intercontinental Championship matches. Javon Evans can beat him and Dom can still beat Dom.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Dom is definitely on that level where he can lose every time and it's not going to affect his heat one bit.
I actually think Dom should be up another rung.
Yeah.
It's time.
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't really think he fits in the current world title. He could beat Punk. Screw it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, why couldn't he beat Punk? Make people hate him even more.
Yeah, why not? I think he should win the Money in the Bank. Whenever Money in the Bank is, Dom should win it.
Absolutely. Be perfect for him.
For sure. All right, let's talk about that Raw show. Raw did a little Netflix Stranger Things crossover, which I don't know if you guys watch Stranger Things, but I'm a big fan of the show. And I thought that the background on the stage and how they did the little chapters on the show was pretty cool. I actually thought this was a pretty cool thing that they did. They didn't go too hard into it. They didn't have an upside down match where they were like, I don't know, squirting slime guns at each other or something stupid like that. It was just kind of this is a Raw with a Netflix, with a Stranger Things theme. I thought it was a pretty cool thing.
So I said it tongue in cheek in our text group about how I have this weird feeling a monster from Stranger Things is going to interfere in the main event. I'm glad that didn't happen.
Yeah, that could have happened. That's something that may have happened in past years in WWE.
Right. And
if
I've
Vince
never
Russo presents Monday Night Raw Stranger Things.
Vince Russo, you needed Vince McMahon from 3 years ago when his lights out matches and stuff like that. And I'm going to say this. I've never seen Stranger Things. It doesn't appeal to me. But if that's how you want to do like your advertisements and your crossover shows, I'd rather have that than a zombie lumberjack match. I thought it was done better than most times they go overboard with this crap. So if you're going to continue to do things like this and get advertising money this way, much better than what we've done a couple of years back. You know,
I agree. I mean, I know it's part of the 2026 wishes, but I think more stuff like this can happen, even if it's not Stranger Things connection or another show like that. Like just having quarterly one, either Raw or SmackDown, having some sort of special feel. You see it on Dynamite where they do Winter is Coming or Beach Break or any of this stuff, Heat Wave. We just had New Year's Evil. Like it just makes the show feel more than just one of 52 episodes that are on.
To your point, AEW does, at least once a month, Collision or Dynamite is like a different themed event. And I know everyone's like, well, the PLEs are different themed, but the PLEs only have 5 matches. Like, you can do something special in between the PLEs on a Monday or a Friday and have these mid-carders feel like it's more special than just, oh, we're defending the women's US title on Friday night. Like, give them just that little bit of extra to make it feel worthwhile,
Especially considering how many different networks WWE is on. I mean, you have to have 4 different subscriptions or cable at this point
Right.
to watch all the things. They can definitely do more things like this for sure.
And I mean, to New Year's Evil was just yesterday, and it felt like a bigger show just because it was called New Year's Evil. So you're like, oh, something big's going to happen here. Let's tune in to watch it,
Sometimes I'm convinced AEW does name shows just to make them feel more special, and it works. So just go with it.
I have never missed The Winter Is Coming.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
The only issue I have with it is then when you go to look for it on HBO Max and you search it by Dynamite, it doesn't come up. That's the only thing that bothers me.
Problems. First world problems right there.
Let's talk about the show, because this show had 4 matches on it, and 3 of them were all women. There was a lot of women on this show. The first match, the tag team match, 4 of the absolute best in the business, as we expected. Fantastic. It was great. This kind of the point that I want to make, though, is that just a little bit ago, Rob, you said that you were hoping that they get away from having, the big stars teaming together and winning the women's tag team championships. And this title change doesn't help the matter per se, unless one of the 2 turns heel on the other. This is a duo that probably is going to be hard to beat unless it's 2 other stars teaming together.
And I actually do think that Rhea, I think by WrestleMania, if not at WrestleMania, Rhea becomes the Eradicator again. I think that's where we're going to this, because Rhea needs to be the Eradicator again. At least that's my hope, But you're right, But it doesn't mean that we need to have 8 tag teams of all major stars. Like Nia Jackson, Lash Legend can squash Io Sky and then have Rhea turn on Io.
Look, they either need to make out or they need to punch each other, because I'm tired of it.
They were getting pretty damn close in that entrance this week.
Seriously.
I was a little surprised. I had the Kabuki Warriors as my number 2 tag team of the year below FTR. So I was a little surprised that they took the belts off of them. And I did agree. I agree with Rob. I thought the direction that we were probably going was Rhea Ripley getting into that world title picture. I guess there's still time, but it was kind of interesting that they won.
I feel like Rhea feels like she's probably the favorite to win the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Anyone check the odds on that?
Vegas says otherwise.
What does Vegas say?
It's Bianca Belair right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Bianca Belair might be really hurt, because I feel like that's been going on for a while, and I haven't heard anything about Bianca.
I heard that it was like a broken finger at first, which is 2 months, maybe. I think we've all broken our fingers at one point in life.
Get up and get out there.
Yeah, but if she's still off TV, unless they're holding her off for the Royal Rumble, and if that's the case, but
surprise.
Right. That's the only thing I could think of. Or, as you say, something else is going on.
Yeah. I don't know, because Montez Ford's not on TV either. So
is he hurt, or is he just not there?
I have no explanation for why the Street Profits are not on TV. anyone could
theoretically, he might have been on TV as Masked Man number 2.
Oh, that's true. Could be Masked Man number 2.
Which we still haven't identified. He might still be out there.
Because there was technically 2 different dumpers. So you can't tell us they were the same person.
Are we going back to the asses? Like, this is what we're doing.
This is Dumpergate. Dumpergate. We want to know who the second dumper was. Who does number 2 work for? That's what I want to know. All right, Rob, you absolutely hated these next 2 matches, so we should definitely talk about them. And I want to know why you're so sexist. Liv Morgan, back in action, defeats Lyra Valkyria, and Becky Lynch beats Maxine Dupree for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. So we have had 3 women's titles change hands in a matter of 3 days. That's crazy. 4 days.
I didn't say I hated the Liv Valkyria match. I just kind of forgot it existed. Until you brought it up, and I'm like, oh yeah, Bailey went Nutter Butters. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry I'm sexist. Yeah, go ahead.
It's so good to hear you admit it. Thank you.
You want to know what?
That's the first step.
Hold on.
If you look at my search history, you'd say otherwise.
Hang on. One sec. Hang on. Real quick. Okay, you have the floor.
He realizes we can't hear that.
You couldn't hear it?
No, it just came out muffled.
Oh, that's bull.
I know, right? Terrible. Anyway, what we were talking about? Oh, the Valkyria Liv Morgan match wasn't bad. Liz is still a little rusty. You know, there wasn't a very good chemistry. But we're going to talk about that other match. Maxine Dupree did something that even Michael Cole had no idea what to do with it.
Yes.
Michael Cole was confused, so confused that he said, well, she's just trying everything right now. Like that.
it looked like, you know, that move, the wing clipper.
I think that's what we were going for.
She was trying to do it from the vulnerable position. Like, she wasn't doing the wing clipper from the dominant position. She was the little spoon trying to do the wing clipper.
And at first, I'm like...
And Becky looked like she didn't know what just happened either. She was like, what am I supposed to do?
And at first, I'm like, all right, Becky got confused and she didn't go down with the move because I thought maybe they'd both have to drop to... But even if Becky drops to her knees, what the fuck are you accomplishing with this? That match was bad. That match was very, very bad.
She also botched a ankle lock, which I didn't know that a person could botch an ankle lock. I thought that was pretty.
I have to chime in though. I have to chime in because I got to say this. I continue to have my expectations exceeded by Maxine Dupree.
And I'm gonna say this. The first match they had with each other, I didn't think was that bad. Because again, it's Maxine Dupree. You can't think too much of it, right? This match was eyeball bleeding awful. It was terrible. No, it was bad, dude. Go back and watch it.
The problem is I thought after the last couple, you could do this narrative that she's getting better and maybe people get behind it. But, you know, that match was so dog shit bad. And then you have Michael Cole saying she's getting a lot better. And it's like, what the fuck?
He literally said her in-ring ability is getting so better as she botched the ankle lock. Like, I'm just sitting there and I'm like, oh my God, this is awful. It doesn't help that I think this was after the 2 promos of the Usos who got halfway to the ring and just started talking. And then the Stephanie Valkyrie, Raquel Rodriguez thing happened. And then you had this match. So I just, oh my God, it was bad.
I don't know what you do with Maxine, but You can't keep having Michael Cole say that. I mean, that was just so ridiculous.
So, I mean, what I think is going to happen is one, Maxine's going to go back to the dungeon to make a video with Natalia, and then I do believe AJ Lee takes this belt from Becky Lynch.
Yeah, at WrestleMania. That's where we're building to.
Yeah, that's where we're going.
So all that to say, I continue to have my expectations exceeded by Maxine Dupree. Imagine how low that bar was. Imagine how low that bar was. She is a better wrestler than Lana.
Yes. Okay.
Nailed it. So she is doing great. Fantastic job, Maxine Dupree. She is a one-time Intercontinental Champion, and that's more than any of us can say.
I mean, she's a quarter of the way to being a Grand Slam champion.
Yes. She should really probably just go back to being a manager for Otis and Tozawa. I mean, what a great tandem. What do you call it? What's the 3 version of a tandem?
A trio?
Trio.
Oh, fuck. Cut that. Where's the cut that button? Okay. All right. The moment that we've all been waiting for. This was really what sold the tickets, what got us in the building. CM Punk retains the World Heavyweight Championship over Braun Breaker. What do you guys think? Tell me what you
I thought what sold the tickets was whether or not Chris Jericho was going to show up.
Break the walls down. Walls are
I really want him to come out to Judas. Like, I want to hear Break the Walls Down and then it go black and Judas just start playing.
I wanted to come out as the Painmaker when we had like the black eye makeup.
Then again, I heard the lead singer from Fozzy is a dick, so he may not give him the rights.
He's not the lead singer? oh, my bad. Cut that. Where's the cut that button?
You suck so much.
I'm not having a great night. All right. So anyway, CM Punk beats Braun Breaker. What do you guys think about this match?
I enjoyed it. I liked it. I mean, yes, it may have had to do with the fact that I did not see there wasn't a ton of great wrestling on this show besides the opener, and those last 2 matches were. One was short and one was very rough, but I liked it. I thought it told a great story. I said last week to Rob when we were talking about it that I wanted a definitive winner. I thought either it should have been Braun Breaker's night or it should have been Punk holding off the young guy. And I think they did that. And, the way Punk won, where he was getting his ass kicked, whether it was always intentional or not, that dive outside was probably not supposed to hurt as much as it did, but I mean, he looked like an older guy that was facing a young bull, and he was fighting for his life to keep that title. And it wasn't a 5-star classic as far as perfect moves, but the story that was in the ring to me made it a great match. And I like where they can go with it. That Punk held off Breaker that night.
I agree with Bob. First off, I got a little bit of a problem being a sports guy of the Chicago-made Punk wearing a Michigan jersey, varsity jacket. He looked like an old man trying to relive his glory days coming out. All right. Also, there was no pyro, which was weird to me. Did they not have pyro in the Barclays Center?
They didn't want to blow up the van.
Real quick, I wanted to comment on the jacket because, like, when he came out with the Michigan-looking jacket, I was like, is he from Michigan? I was like, no, he's very clearly from Chicago. It made no sense to me. And then they said in the match about Braun Breaker's dad, and I was like, oh, duh, they wore those varsity jackets.
Again, I get what they were going for. But he just looked like a washed-out Mike Rotunda in his varsity jacket. Like, that's what he reminded me of. He reminded me of an old man who son is in the state finals, so he wore his varsity jacket to the game. Like, that's what he reminded me of. Punk did look like an old man compared to Braun Breaker. It looked like Punk was a step behind. I think the story that was being told was great, whether it was intended or not, but it looked like Punk was fighting for his life, and he needed everything he had to stop Braun Breaker from taking that title. I thought it was nicely done.
Yeah, totally. I think it was more. I think it was less that Punk was a step behind, and more that Breaker was a step in front. I feel like Breaker probably could have slowed down at some points, like specifically on that Hurricanrana that he botched and landed on his head, because he was falling backwards before he ever jumped into the air. And if he would have just taken a second to balance himself, he would have hit that Hurricanrana and we wouldn't be talking about it. But instead, what it looked like to me, and this was my opinion when I saw it, I said, if you're going to be in the main event of WrestleMania, you either need to hit this move or don't fucking do it.
See, it looked to me like Punk wasn't ready for it.
He
like
100%
that's what it looked like.
The one where he hit his head.
I'm not convinced that I'm not 100% sure that move was supposed to land, because the way Punk was, I don't know if it's even possible he could have gotten. Like his legs were
That's what I'm saying. I feel like Punk was not ready for that. Like Punk wanted to take a little bit more of a breather.
But what was weird was theoretically Braun Breaker should have saw where his legs were. So that's why I almost was curious if it was like supposed to be a reversal, but Braun Breaker got too over dramatic.
His legs never got around his shoulder.
Yeah.
It never got.
It was just a weird move. But I did think that they camouflaged Breaker's eagerness well, because obviously one of the huge spots of the match was the spear that Breaker went early. Like, I think that was set up the spot. Punk was not in the proper position to take the spear and then missed, leading to the GTS. So I agree with Ram. I did think Breaker was a little overzealous, but I thought they tied it in pretty well on the match.
So we did talk about this earlier. I did watch the match again. I tried to take off the rose-colored glasses because anybody who has listened to this podcast knows how I feel about CM Punk and about how he's too old for this crap. And I feel like he was just a step behind. That's how I personally feel.
I tell you what, I was personally terrified when I saw Braun Breaker going for that elbow drop on the table.
Yeah.
I was like, and that was right after the dive on the outside. I thought, win or lose, Punk is not making it out of this match, because.
Well, I mean, you did see his face. His face was bruised. I mean, and also Punk, anytime Punk wrestles, his face swells up. Like, he looks like a crack baby. Like, that's the best way to describe him. He looks like an old man. He
got injured diving into the crowd one time, so that's kind of where we're at on the.
He looks like an old man. I mean, our 2026 wish list isn't up, but we have all agreed that they need newer, younger faces in the main event scene. And as much as I loved Punk coming back and him getting that title again and all that, he's a 52-year-old man. Like,
he ain't that old, is he?
Mm-hmm.
No, he's like 47.
He's like 47. He's a baby in the WWE.
Yeah, I was gonna say
that's the sad part.
I saw a post yesterday or today, I forget, that there's never been a world champion in WWE born in the 90s. Which means nobody under the age of 36 has ever been the world heavyweight champion. Well,
I think Seth Rollins was born. He's the same age as me. I think he's 30.
I was born in 92.
Yeah, I think he's the same age as me.
Well, yeah, because that's definitely true. Because think about it. The only people under 30 that have won the title in the last 25 years are
been a long time.
Brock and Randy Orton.
It's been a long time since somebody young has won the world title.
And I'm pretty sure if you go back to 1990, the only 3 people that have won the WWE title under 30 would be The Rock, Brock, and Randy Orton. So there's not a ton of additional.
So there is an actual fun fact, and I don't know if it's still the same thing, but Seth Rollins is the first person to win a title who is younger than WrestleMania 1. Now that might have changed, but he was the first person to hold the WWE title after WrestleMania. Did that make sense?
The last part
Yes.
didn't, but we understood what you were saying.
The first
Yeah.
person who was younger than WrestleMania.
Right. So he was actually the first person that was born before 1984.
After.
After 1984, I'm sorry.
Gotcha. Interesting. Yeah. He won it before Roman. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Roman's old.
What about Kevin Owens? Oh, that was after Rollins, too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Owens
Sure.
Owens isn't as old as you think, I don't think, but he's
I think he's probably around where Rollins
Owens
is.
has more mileage
yeah.
than I would say he's old.
I would say upper 30s, probably.
I want to say he's around 37, 38 as well.
Yeah, that's what I think. The only other note that I have is next week, AJ Styles against Gunther. Is it possible that Gunther's just going to retire everybody?
It's kind of weird that they're having that match. I thought that
Could have been a
that
bigger
was the
deal.
direction.
I hope it ends in a schmoz. Like, I hope AJ Styles is kicking his ass and Gunther just, boots him in the balls.
Maybe Ludwig
And it just
Kaiser.
ends like that. Like,
Maybe
I don't like schmozes like that, but I feel like this match should be bigger if this is the route we're going to go. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Rob, do you think they deserve a story?
Well, if we're going to have Gunther be the actual legend killer, this motherfucker,
The career
Well, it's-
destroyer.
the career
What
killer.
doesn't make sense is AJ's not retiring
Yeah.
Monday.
Well, I
That's
think
and that's
AJ
what I'm saying. Like, but if that's what we're going to build to, like, let's say, I wouldn't even say WrestleMania because I think AJ is going to be around for a little bit longer. But if we have a schmoz right now and he gets kicked in the balls and like things like that, and we kind of forget about it because the Royal Rumble's coming up, you can make different. You can have like a 2-week feud and then make different feuds at the Rumble.
I swear,
So
if they
we-
give me another AJ Styles ball kicking storyline, I'm not having it.
I completely forgot that happened. I try to repress the memories of Backlash, Ram, all right? We spent money on that.
Yes, that's very interesting. I'm thinking we probably get Chris Jericho at Royal Rumble. Be a
Yeah, it's the
surprise
Rumble.
entrance. A surprise entrance.
I hope we get the countdown. Do, do, do,
Well,
do.
you've now hoped for Judas and the countdown.
So I told you, I want the countdown. I want to hear it break the walls, and then I want Judas to play.
I like that. I would rather see. I know they don't like doing this because they don't like doing things that they didn't really create, but I would much rather see a version of Jericho more closely aligned to what he was in AEW than bringing back Y2J in 2025.
Yeah, we don't need
So-
Y2J in 2020.
No, we don't. That's why you get people excited with the countdown, and then he comes out in his black suit playing Judas. I think that'd be cool.
As the Painmaker.
Yeah.
As the pain
Or-
maker.
Or the Learning Tree. Bring in Big Bill too while you're at it.
No.
No,
Paul
no,
Heyman's. Didn't you listen to Michael Cole? Braun Breaker is under Paul Heyman's learning tree.
They need
Oh.
to keep the learning tree far, far away from me.
Inner Circle?
No.
Yeah, I'll give Chris
I like the
Jericho
Inner
credit.
Circle.
I'll give Chris Jericho credit. They may not have always worked, but he's always trying. You got to give him credit for that.
The Inner
He is
Circle was
always
great.
trying. He absolutely is always trying.
Le Champion.
There we go. That's a good one.
We do
That's
not-
what we need. We need
We
the
don't
Ocho.
need Jack Swagger back, though.
No, we
I
do
hope
not.
he's not a La Champion. I really hope it's just after WrestleMania. They just have him for his podcast, and that's it.
We need the Ocho back in WWE.
Who do you guys
Ocho.
think? I did want to ask. So, who do you guys think Punk's facing at WrestleMania or at Royal Rumble?
At the Royal
McIntyre.
Rumble. I don't think Punk has a match at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I mean, there's really they usually only have 3 matches. We might have a women's match with, Raquel Rodriguez versus Stephanie Valkyrie in a boot.
It's 2 matches plus the 2 Royal Rumbles.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So it's 2 that's what I meant. It's 2 matches. So we'll probably get Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre so Cody can win his belt back, hopefully. And then we'll have a women's match.
We're going to have Becky Lynch versus Maxine Dupree 5. And the other match will be the women's tag team. No, because we need Rhea to win the Royal Rumble.
We'll have Cody
We
and
can't
Drew.
have
But Drew
Yeah,
We
Drew's
can't
gonna
have
be
too many women's. First off, we can't have 2 women's matches because there's not enough women to begin with to do a Royal Rumble.
Wow.
Also,
Rob.
Actually,
Wow.
you want to know what? It's in Saudi. I don't know how many women's matches we're going to get.
That is very true. Oh my gosh, how many women we're gonna have in those full bodysuits?
Yeah,
Well,
I don't know if you guys seen the memes circling around, but it says 2026 Women's Royal Rumble. It's all a bunch of Power Rangers.
It's gonna
Which
be
is
just
hilarious.
a bunch of women in black leather.
It's going to be
suits.
Power Rangers.
Oh, they're all gonna have. There's gonna be a. It's gonna be a rainbow. There's gonna be a bunch of different colors in there.
Pretty much. That's what we're going for.
Yeah. So that. What day is the Royal Rumble? Is it in February?
It's January 31st, I want to say.
Yeah. 31st.
And it's going to be in like 2 in the afternoon, which sucks.
Yeah, because I swear I saw there was a Saturday night's main event that week.
Yeah, the 24th. That's why I was asking if Cody Rhodes was going to be.
The week
Yeah,
before.
so you got Saturday night's main event on the 24th, and then the 31st, you have the Royal Rumble.
That's
So
when
Dan-
Drew's going to lose back the title Saturday.
There's a
Saturday night's
possibility.
main event.
Look, Drew just needs to win the title. I don't care if it's for 3 days. All right? Drew needs to win this title.
Do you
We
actually
said it
think Drew's
last
going to
week.
win the title? Though?
Huh?
We did 3 stages of foul. Fuck, he should win. Like, he needs to win. He
He-
needs to
the-
win,
the-
or he can't continue to be on SmackDown. He can't.
So you missed this. You missed this last week. We did this last week. But yes, that's exactly what we said. If he does not win this, he needs to go away. That's why I
He was-
said
And he was
Punk might
great.
actually face him at the Royal Rumble.
He should go back to NXT.
He should go to. He should go. He should go to
He
TNA.
He should
He
show
should
up
go
on
back
Wednesday.
to TNA.
He should go
He'd
to
show up
TNA.
on Wednesday and challenge Max.
Yeah,
He
there
could
we
be
go.
the 7th guy.
Hey, he can go.
I'm
He,
coming for you.
he would be a great get for AEW for sure.
No, he wouldn't. They wouldn't use him properly. He's too big.
The first,
You know that.
The first AEW Elimination Chamber.
You know he's too big.
He's
Anybody who's 6'6", 275 can't be used properly.
That's true. They do not book those guys at all. Although they don't really have any that are really good, except for Big Bill, who should be world champion already.
I mean, Bobby Lashley, but
Yeah.
Big Bill got stuck in the Jericho vortex and he
Yeah,
could
that's for
not
sure.
get himself out.
That is for sure. All right, gentlemen. Well, that's all I have. Do you guys have any other tidbits that I missed that you want to bring up tonight?
when's Roman coming back? At Rumble? Or are we holding off on that?
I mean, he's gotta.
Do you think he shows up before the Rumble?
I don't see how. Yes, he shows up the Friday SmackDown before the Royal Rumble.
I wonder if he shows up on that main event and like he has a big stare down with Cody.
Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna have to see.
I think that Roman wins the Rumble. I think Drew wins on Friday. Cody wins it back in the SmackDown Elimination Chamber, and the Raw challenger will come in the Raw Elimination Chamber.
Bob's
Okay.
got it. Bob's got it written down. It's written in stone. All right, gentlemen. That's going to do it for today's episode. We'll be back next week. A lot more wrestling to talk about, I'm sure. Very interested to see where all the new call-ups to the main roster, what they're doing. I mean, some of them have a little bit of direction. We'll be long awaiting the arrival of the ruler up there as well, and hopefully we get to find out what the fallout is between the Takeshita Okada, Kyle Fletcher, Don Callis situation. All that and more. And until then, enjoy wrestling.
We are marks. Bob brought